Good morning, Pranam. Welcome to the live session. And again, we are here for another topic, and that is today we are discussing this month almost for the 9 weeks continuously. We will be discussing about the planets. So, last week we started with Mercury, Buddha. This time we'll start with Venus. Venus means Shukra. So, many people say our relationships are not working. My Venus is not good. I'm in an unhealthy, relationship. But as we understood last time, that the planets are only revolving around the sun. So that means they are all following a pattern. So we understand that, every planet is only following a pattern. That means inside us, we are also following certain patterns because of which certain things are not working. So none of the planet is actually, doing anything for you. The planets are only and only making you understand that what you are thinking in a rotatory movement again and again, only that is where the relationships or even communication or anything is not working in your life. So, when people say my relationship is not good or I don't feel happy, so understand that Venus is not affecting your relationship. Can a ritual change how you love? Can a ritual remove your expectations? No, it cannot. Until unless there is something within you which changes, you cannot do anything. So, what Venus actually represents? Venus represents your desires, your relationship, and what will make you happy. That is what Venus is about. So, desire is not bad. Relationships are all good, but for example, you expect somebody to understand something, and when they don't understand, you feel hurt. So, what is that? Can any outer remedy help you heal that? I will be happy. So there is a dependency and expectation pattern here. Understand it very nicely, and because this is very important. Okay, the grahas are not harming us. It is only our repeated thinking. Then when you feel hurt, the message is, I will be happy only when the person is happy or when the person stays with me. So, that means there is something external which you want as a validation for your happiness, and you start feeling, you start feeling empty when the things are not going your way. It is very, very common, we come into a relationship, we break the relationship, and then we are running. Why is this happening again and again? Why people run away from me? Because we become needy at that moment. And we become attached to them so much that it becomes like a whole life. So that is where we start, there is a miscommunication, misunderstanding, because we have been attached too much. Now there are a lot of expectations. So the desire is not wrong, but to understand what it is making me. Are my expectations, when you start asking yourself, understand what it is teaching me. So if your Venus is weak, that does not mean, that there is something wrong in you. The only thing to understand is it is teaching you where you are dependent on the outside anybody else other than you. To have a fulfilled relationship, first you need to understand yourself. What am I expecting from the other person? Then comes the Mercury. Am I communicating it properly? Or am I expecting too much from somebody who is not able to, give me back? So here comes the entire focus on the self rather than the other person. So the more you are dependent on the outside happiness, when this will happen, I will be happy. When this will happen, that will be happy. Then that means you are too much attached to the expectations. And what Krishna says is, again, wherever there is desire and attachment, you are going to suffer. So who is responsible for that suffering? A planet? No. A planet is only teaching us to become aware of the self, that where is this attachment leading? Why am I so attached to somebody that I cannot be happy on my own? So the Venus is only teaching you, become aware of yourself. The Venus is teaching you to become where am I so attached that I'm getting hurt? Why am I so attached to this thing? Even any result, you're waiting for a result continuously. The expectations in that moment are literally killing you. And that is where, when you leave that attachment, that whatever will come best. In that moment, when you leave that energy, that is where your Venus starts working good. So, Venus is never a problem. The problem is that you are too much attached to something and there are a lot of expectations. So and how do you heal? How do you understand that you are now you are not dependent on something? Sit with yourself for some time and ask, what is this teaching me? What is this Venus? Not let us not get into the planet. Let us understand what am I feeling so much attached to? Why am I so much dependent on somebody external rather than my own self? So, for example, if a friend of mine, or if my family member or suppose, let me say, my husband loves to go to parties or somewhere, and I'm not a party person. So I feel that he is very happy and I'm not happy. So then that happiness, if to make myself, when he is partying, it is my responsibility to make myself occupy in the best what if I love to read books, then let me take my time out for that. So everybody needs that space to grow. So when we don't respect the space and we just want everybody to just cling, whatever I am doing the other person is doing, that is where we go wrong, because we just want everything to cling. So we all have different expectations from our partners, from the life, from people, but being dependent on something will never resolve. So if you want, you should find your own happiness. You should find what makes me feel good. I love swimming, let me go for swimming classes, let me join some dance classes, let me read this, so make your own life so fulfilled that the other person only comes just as complementing each other, not as a version of you are clinged so well that when you leave you feel that emptiness. Missing person is not that. Missing someone is when you are happy in a relationship, not when something is pulling you back. Ye kahan se aa gaye, right? So if somebody keeps you too attached to you or becomes so needy, you will also start suffocating. So remember, what we give others, we need the same back also. So give space, give yourself the space, understand your own needs, understand where you may want to be happy and have a fulfilling life. You want to go out on trips, you want to do whatever. Do not depend on the people who are so much around you. Depend on yourself, how to make yourself happy. And you see how the relationships are really going to work out well. That is where, so who changed? Did actually any of the planetary things changed? Any of the external validations changed? No. Stop asking for validations and start working on yourself. And that is where your Venus is actually going to improve. So there is nothing outside of you. My whole series is only to teach you, that let us stop depending on the world to react and we keep on waiting for something. Let us go inside and understand planets are only revolving. So they are teaching us that I am running in a pattern, so your thought pattern is also running in a pattern, your life is also running in a pattern. Until you break that pattern, the planetary shift cannot happen. So we depend on ye stars honge. Krishna says, sit in meditation, learn to understand yourself. It will take some time, but the more your validation from the outside world stops, the more you start growing. So your Venus is never bad. Only your attachment and expectations with the outside world should be more than with yourself rather than the world. So that is all for me. Anybody has to ask any questions, you can please put on. We are taking meditation sessions every Monday. If you wish to join, you can join. Every Monday 9:30 p.m. It's almost a 1 month course. There are 4 different meditations. Every week it's a live session. So every week we'll go with a different, starting from where your thoughts are, then taking you deeper into your own self. So the meditations have been designed to the Vedantic way, and I'm teaching Gita also. You can have options of studying 3 days with me or 5 days with me, as suitable to you. So this is for me today. Next week we'll have another Graha, and we learn, how the grahas are actually helping us become aware of the self, not actually harming us. So let us stop blaming the planets, let us stop blaming the outer world and become more and more self-aware. This is called self-love. So see you next week. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you all for joining. Jai Shri Krishna.